everybody. Welcome to the Leader Club podcast. My name is Michael.
This is Caleb.
And we are so excited because we have a very exciting episode for you today. And actually, Caleb gets to introduce today's speaker.
One of my all-time favorite speakers. I get to listen to her daily, sometimes preaching at me or giving me some life lessons as well. But we were honored to hear from my wife, Ashley, one of the co-founders of Leader Club. And she gave us 20 practical tips on leadership. It was a phenomenal talk. She did awesome, just like I coached her. Totally kidding. She had her speech together, put a lot of work into this talk, and did phenomenal. Just knocked it out of the park. So it was great.
Yeah, and today's talk with Ashley was amazing because she broke down some simple tips that you can use regardless of where you're at in your leadership journey, whether you're a beginner, and you're just starting out leading a team or an organization, or you're an experienced. She really broke down exactly what you can do to make sure you're an effective leader. So let's jump right into the podcast and let's hear what she has to say.
Let's go.
I'm Ashley Allen. I'm one part of the couple team of Leader Club. But me and my husband, we live in Tampa. And we're just dedicated to helping others grow. And that's our whole purpose of being here on the Leader Club community with you and starting that. So as we get going tonight, I just want to share my heart with you. And I hope that as I'm doing this talk, you just see me as a friend that's giving you some tips that she's learned, some practical steps to take your leadership to the next level. Because that's what I want. Even if I haven't met you, I want you to go after your dreams and crush them. And I am a little goofy, so you may pick up on some of those quirks tonight. But again, it's just because I'm a real person just like you are, and I want you to accomplish so many great things in your life. So for me, when I first started to realize that I could go for my dreams, is when my husband and I started dating. And Caleb had more vision than anyone really had ever met up until that point. And he just showed me that it doesn't matter where you're from, you can start to grow and you can start to dream. And so I started to realize, I'm not really going for my dreams. Like, how do I change this? How do I change the circumstance that I'm in? So I started to learn, and the steps that I'm going to share is what I applied to my life. And I'm also a registered nurse. And in my career, I've already gotten to be a director of nursing of a long-term care facility before I even turned 30. So that's kind of what my talk is about, 20 leadership tips for leadership at any level. And the reason I use the number 20 is because I'm still in my 20s, but ladies never tell you their real age, right? So rather than doing my exact age, I'll do 20. And I know that sounds kind of daunting, but don't worry, I'm not going to keep you forever tonight, but I hope that you can get something great out of this, because these tips, they're not anything that I've come up with on my own, but what I've learned and what's helped me so much. So we're going to jump right into it. Number one is you can lead. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what personality you have. It doesn't matter your background. You can lead. Ironically, I was talking to Caleb about the talk, and he sent me a quote today, and it's just perfect. It's by Vince Lombardi, and it says, "Leaders are made, they're not born." And I want you to get that. Leaders are made, they're not born. So for me, I'm naturally more of an introvert. My husband's the awesome extrovert in our relationship, but I'm naturally an introvert. So a lot of the communication things, the speaking principles, it was harder for me initially. And it was something I had to work on, but I learned that it didn't matter that I was an introvert. It doesn't matter what my natural personality is. I can lead either way. So with that in mind, number 2 is leverage your personality and strengths. So for example, being more of an introvert, I'm a much better listener than my extroverted friends. And listening has helped me be able to develop relationships that has taken my leadership further. So if you can find a strength like that you might not even, because who would think of being a good listener as a step to get you where you need to be as a leader? So think about your personal personality, your personal strengths, and leverage those. And then number three, realize that your strengths, they're personal to you. So don't try to be someone that you're not. So for me, I have a personal little, how do I put it? Battle going on with gravity a lot of times. And I'm a little bit more clumsy than the average person, I feel like. So it would not be wise for me to say that I'm a world class gymnast that is great at the balance beam because that's not me. And I can realize that about myself and realize that I don't have to try to be someone that I'm not. And I know that that's a very broad description, but there are so many times that I feel like people in leadership try to be someone that they're not. But the best leaders that I've had have been real people. They've been flawed, but they've been real. And that means so much coming from someone that's following them. So, number four is learn yourself. In order to apply your strengths and leverage them, you have to know yourself. Um, you have to take time to observe your qualities. If you don't know what your strengths and weaknesses are, I encourage you just to observe yourself for a week. See how you respond in certain situations, and it'll be very clear what's better for you, what's easier for you, what makes your heart race a little bit and go, this isn't natural for me. Um, Learn yourself. That's so huge. And then number five is work to improve your weaknesses. And I know that this is kind of hard for people because no one wants to admit that you have weaknesses, but as you learn yourself, you'll know those weaknesses and you can improve them. For example, for me in high school, I was so introverted, so shy. And if you would have asked my teachers, if you would have asked people around me if I would be on a platform like this, talking for any length of time at all, they would be like, "No, no, no. You have the wrong girl. That's not possible." Except for, I mean, I had a few friends that told me I could do anything that I wanted to do, and they were great. But for the most part, I was not someone that people would think would be on a platform like this. But I realized, communication might have been a weakness for me, but I could improve it. I can learn how to take that weakness and transform it into something that I can use for good. So I would encourage you, those weaknesses that you have, they don't have to stop you from being a leader. You can recognize them and then work on them. And then number six is to treat yourself with respect. So for me, I've realized that if you don't respect yourself, don't expect anyone else to. So if I would have carried what people said about me when I was in high school about not being able to speak, about being more introverted, if I would have carried that with me and allowed that to define me and not respected myself, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have gotten to accomplish all those great things that I got to while working in that director role. And there may be things like that in your life that maybe someone told you you couldn't do something. Maybe someone said your dream wasn't worth it. Let me tell you, your dream is worth it. Respect yourself enough to allow yourself to dream. If you can really capture that and you can really work on that, it'll change your life. So, continuing on with that thought and respecting yourself, what you do with your time matters. And I know you've heard this before, but and I know it's a very general concept, but a lot of my other points kind of stem from that because the time that we're given is short. So we have to do all that we can with it. And you can choose to live um, average, or you can choose to live in victory and abundance. And that's what I want for each of you, speaking to you as a friend. Um, Number eight is going to be a tough one for some of you. As the more introvert, it's actually one that I enjoy because I would love to do this all the time. So, number eight is read as if your life depends on it. And I know a lot of people may say, I'm not in high school, I'm not in college anymore. Why do I need to read? To be honest, reading is probably the single most important thing for me in my leadership that has helped. Because I believe anything you want to know, you can find in a book. If you want to know how to be a better wife as a married lady, you can find that in a book. If you want to know how to budget, if you want to know how to steward your finances, you can find that in a book. If you want to know how to communicate, you can find that in a book. There have been so many books that have helped me learn how to talk to people, how to have a one on one conversation with someone. Anything you want to know is in a book. So I would encourage you, if reading is not a habit that you've had, set aside even 10 minutes a day just to read something to make you better, because it will make you better. And most successful people I know, I don't even think there's an exception to this rule. But most successful people I know read, and they read every day. So read as if your life depends on it. Trust me. And then number 9 is spend time with friends that pull you forward. So remember my earlier example. I had a few friends in high school that told me, Ashley, you can do anything. I believe in you. When I was shy and quiet, they'd be pulling me out of my comfort zone. Let's talk. Let's talk to that new person. Let's sit by someone that we've never sat beside before. And I'm so grateful for those friends. And even more so as I've become a leader, I've made friends with people like that pull me forward. So if you are surrounding yourself with people that don't pull you forward, or even worse, people that pull you back and pull you down, I would encourage you to take a look at those relationships and determine how much of a priority that you want that to be. Because if you're surrounding yourself with people that uplift you, you're going to do so much more. It puts your mind in such a better place when you surround yourself with great people.
This session was actually one of my favorites. I love just all the simplicity to this, like I said at the beginning. But one of my favorite parts about this talk was her talking about the power of reading. And if you're anything like me, sometimes it's hard when you're busy, you're doing all these things, you're juggling life. It's hard to kind of incorporate reading. You know what I mean, Caleb?
Oh, yeah.
But I did find whenever I sat down and made time to read, that it changed my perspective and changed my life. So out of all those rules and those tips she gave, that one probably stuck out to me because it's one area I need to improve on myself. And I think that if you really harness that one, that you'll see growth as a leader. Which one was your favorite?
Yeah, so definitely with the reading, you've got to be intentional. You got to make it happen. They say leaders are readers. And so in leadership in general, you're going to have to discipline yourself to be intentional with reading more, just getting around people that know more than you through audio or whatever it is, books that are there. So love that one. The other one that stuck out to me was where she talks about learning leveraging your strengths, learning just to leverage your personality. One of my favorite couple of favorite speakers, Craig Rochelle and John Maxwell, they both talk about being real, just people that want to follow a leader that's real, not one that's always right. Craig Rochelle will say, and truly learning, I don't have to be you. I don't have to be anybody else in the world. I just need to be me. I'm created to be myself, and I just need to learn to be real. I need to learn to leverage my personality, who I am, and really enjoyed that part of the talk.
Love it. And there were so many more tips I could talk about that I loved as well. Yeah. But I mean, we want to know, I'm really curious, what tips stuck out to you? So if you're listening to this, leave us a review. Let us know what your favorite tips were, or maybe you're watching on YouTube, wherever you're finding this at. Just let us know, or maybe it's in the Leader Club community. Just let us know what you found was valuable out of this talk, and maybe you want to listen to the rest, or you want to find more videos just like this one and more past talks and past podcasts. Listen, we'd love for you to become a Leader Club member because we do talks like this every single week, and they are powerful, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Becoming a member. You can go to leaderclubonline.com and register. You'll be able to hear a talk like this one and many others, along with the show notes and all the other perks that come along with being a member, access to our private community. In addition to that, if you all can subscribe to the channel here, and however you're listening through the podcast platform or even on YouTube. We would love to continue to deliver this content to you all constantly.
Yeah. So, guys, stay plugged in and go out there and lead your world. We'd love for you to go out there and just change the world with us. That's what we're all here for. So,
Oh, yeah.
until next time, guys, we'll see you on the next Leader Club podcast.